Welcome friends. In this video, we will discuss about an important concept of real analysis, that is limit point of a set. We see what is meant by limit point, what are the examples of limit points, and very important Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem for a set. Now I am going to write the definition of limit point. A real number, a real number xi is a limit point of a set S, where S is a subset of R. If every neighborhood of xi contains an infinite numbers of members of S. A real number xi is a limit point of a set S if every neighborhood of xi contains an infinite number of members of S. Neighborhood, n is said to be neighborhood if there exists an open interval which contain a point and which is subset of n. Here xi is a limit point of a set S if for any neighborhood n of a xi, the set, if n is a neighborhood, if we consider n is neighborhood of xi, then the n intersection S, this set contain infinite members of S. Then here capital N is any neighborhood of a xi. If this intersection contains infinite members of S, then xi is called as a limit point of a set S. Limit point is also called as a cluster point or condensation point or an accumulation points. Limit point of a set may or may not be a member of a set. A finite set cannot have a limit point. These are the very important thing about the limit point. It is not necessary that an infinite set must possess a limit point. Therefore, a set may have no limit point, a unique limit point, a finite limit points or a infinite limit points. Remember that limit point of a set is also called as a cluster points, condensation point or accumulation point. Limit point of a set may or may not be a member of a set. Finite set cannot have a limit point. It is not necessary that an infinite set must possess a limit point. A set may have no limit point, unique limit point, finite limit point or infinite number of limit point. It is also defined as xi is a limit point. It is also defined as xi. Xi is a limit point of S, of a set S if every neighborhood of xi must contains at least one point at least one member of S other than xi. These two definitions are equivalent. A xi is a limit point of S of a set S if every neighborhood of xi contains at least one member of S other than xi. These two definition where xi contains an infinite number of members of S and here at least one member other than xi, these two definitions are equivalents. There is another definition of a derived set. It is also very important. Derived set, the set of all limit points of set S is called the derived set, is called derived set of S and is denoted by S dash. Okay, remember these two definitions. Now, before going to see the examples, once again I will write here in short these definitions: derived set and a limit point of a set, so that you can see that definition and compare the definitions with examples. Okay, what is limit point? Xi is limit point. Xi is a limit point of S if every neighborhood of xi contain infinite members of S and set of all limit points of S is called derived set, and it is denoted by S dash. These are the two definitions. First one is about limit point and second one is about the derived set. These are the two definitions. Xi is a limit point if every neighborhood of xi contain infinite number of member of S. Okay. Now let us see, if we consider the set of integers I. You are all familiar with the set of integers 0 plus minus 1 plus minus 2 dash dash dash. Then if you consider 1 and let us take the neighborhood of 1. Neighborhood is an open interval. Neighborhood. So if we consider any neighborhood, suppose we take 1 by 2 to 3 by 2. 1 by 2 to 3 by 2. This is a neighborhood. This is an open interval. Okay, it contains 1. Look at this. It contains 1, but it do not contain infinite members of I. Do not contain infinite members of I. It contain infinite members of real numbers, but it do not contain infinite members of I, and therefore this is about 1. Similarly, we can show that minus 1 is also not a limit point, 2 is also not a limit point, or any integer is not a limit point, and therefore the set I has a no limit point. Then the set R of real numbers in this set every real number is a limit point of the set R. Every real number, every real number, every real number is limit point. Whatever maybe we take a limit point, we can take, it is possible to take an open interval which contain the limit point, which contain that real number and which is subset of R, and therefore every real number is a limit point of R, and hence R dash equal to R. We have this set of all real number equal to R. Again, if we consider a finite set, the set of if we consider any finite set, suppose if we take another set, suppose my set is a set of quotient 1 by n belongs to capital N. What is capital N here? Capital N is the set of natural numbers. Then we can see that the numbers, the members of the sets are 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, like. Okay. So it is approaching to 0, and if we take any open interval containing 0, it contain infinite members of the set of this set, and therefore 0 is the limit point. 0 is the limit point of this set, but this 0 is not a member of this limit point. Okay, member of this set. Again, if we consider another familiar set Q, the set of rational number, set of rational number, set of rational number, then any rational number, suppose 1 by 2, then it is possible to consider the open interval like this 1 by 3 to 0.6, then we can see that this open interval contain 1 by 2 and it contain infinite members of Q. Therefore, every rational number is also a limit point of Q. Similarly, every irrational number is also a limit point of a set Q. That means limit points, what are the limit points of Q? Rational numbers as well as irrational numbers. These are the limit points. That means total set R, set of real number, is a set of a derived set of Q, that is Q dash is equal to R. Again, if we consider the closed interval a comma b, then every member of this closed interval is a limit point. Since if we consider for a particular example, suppose my set is closed interval 1 comma 2, and if we choose 1.5, then there is an open interval 1.4 or 1.1, 1.3, we can choose to 1.6, 1.7, whatever, maybe 1.051 also, that is 1.51 suppose. Okay, this is an open interval which contain 1.5 and which is subset of S. Okay, this neighborhood contain how many points? Infinite point of these sets, and therefore this closed interval have infinite number of limit points. Also, the end points A and B are also limit point of this closed interval, and therefore derived set of this closed interval is equal to closed interval A comma B. Similarly, if we consider the open interval, suppose this open interval A comma B, then all the points lies between A and B are the limits points of this set, and the end points A and end points B are also limit point. Therefore, derived set of this limit point A comma B equal to closed interval A comma B. Whatever may be the open interval neighborhood of A, if we contain, suppose similar example, if we consider 1 comma 2, this is an open interval, and we can see that this open interval here we can consider this open interval. Suppose this is, there is a point 0.1 and here is a point 1.1. This open interval contain how many points? 1 to 1.1, and between 1 to 1.1 there are infinite points. So this neighborhood contain infinite member of this open interval, and hence this 1 is also a limit point of these sets. That means all the points lies between A and B, and the end points A and B are also limits points of this open interval A comma B, and there hence the derived set of this open interval is the closed interval A comma B. So these are the examples of limit points. Now we see a very interesting theorem about limit point, and that theorem is Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem. For a set, Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem, BOL, Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem, and this is theorem of for sets. Okay, what is the statement? Every infinite bounded set has a limit point. Every infinite bounded set has a limit point. Every infinite, suppose for example if we consider this closed interval 1 comma 2, and this set is a bounded set. Suppose we consider the closed interval 1 comma 2, then we can see that this set contain how many points? Infinite points, and this set is a bounded set, and the statement that this set has a limit point. Okay, this is we want to prove. Now suppose that let S be any infinite bounded set, and it is bounded, therefore it has supremum and infimum. What is supremum? It is a least upper bound. Infimum, greatest lower bound. So if it is a bounded set, it has a supremum and it has a infimum. Capital M and small m are its infimum and supremum respectively. These are the infimum. As set is a bounded, it has infimum as well as it has a supremum. Okay, now let us take one more set. Let P be a set of real numbers. Numbers such that it is of the type such that x belongs to P if and only if it exceeds at the most a finite members of S. Finite members of S. See the definition of this set P. What type of P is? P is a set of real number, but its elements are x such that it exceeds at most a finite member. At most, that means we can choose any number. Suppose he in this above example close interval 1 comma 2, it must, the number must consist at most finite members of S. So we can see that here we can consider 1 belongs to P, because this member contains at most, it exceeds at most finite. Since 1 is a member, 1 is a member of S and it exceeds, it is equality hold at most finite members of S. Here we cannot choose 1.5. If we choose 1.5, then 1.5 and 1, here look at this 1.5 and 1, how many members lies between 1.5 and 1? Infinite members lies between 1.5 and 1. That means this 1.5 exceeds infinite members of S, and hence 1.5 cannot be a member of P. The condition, it at most means there we can choose this one which is member of S, and this is a finite 1. Okay, similarly here 1, look at this 1, this 1 is the least greatest lower bound, infimum of this set, infimum of S, it is an infimum of S. So here we generally take small m is an infimum of this set, and then hence this m, small m belongs to 1, belongs to P. Here small m, it is guaranteed, small m belongs to P, and therefore this set P is non-empty. This set P is non-empty. As P is non-empty and P is a bounded above, like this, here 1 belongs to P, we can see that 1.5 cannot be member of P. Similarly 2 cannot be a member of P, but it is bounded by this 2, P is bounded by 2. All the members of P are bounded by 2. Similarly here in the general set, the member is bounded by capital M, supremum of S. So what type of P? P is a non-empty set which is bounded above, by capital M. Here we can apply the order completeness property. What is order completeness property? Every non-empty bounded set has a supremum. So by order completeness property, every non-empty set has supremum, therefore P has a supremum. If P has a supremum, suppose that supremum is xi. Xi is a supremum and xi belongs to P. Okay, xi is a supremum of S. We cannot say definitely about the belongingness of the supremum. Supremum may be the member of the set, may not be the member of the set, and therefore here we delete this possibility. Xi is a member of P, but xi is an supremum of P, and xi is a supremum of P, then xi plus epsilon here. Then we show that, now what is our target? We show that this xi, is a limit point of limit point of S. This is we want to prove, as we able to show that xi is a limit point of S, we have achieved that S has a limit point. So, see what we have taken, we have constructed one set P such that this P consists of elements. Which type of elements? It exceeds at most finite, at most. So, it is possible that the member of P smaller than S at most, and therefore, here the exactly small m, which is infimum of the set S, is a member. So, P is a non-empty set. Then we can apply the order completeness property. P has a supremum, and we have taken that supremum is a xi. Now, we are going to show that this xi is a limit point of S. Xi is a limit point, therefore, consider neighborhood of xi. Neighborhood of xi, suppose epsilon is greater than 0, consider this open interval xi minus epsilon and xi plus epsilon. See these two number, xi minus epsilon, xi minus epsilon is smaller than xi, and what is xi? Xi is a supremum. Therefore, xi is a supremum means xi minus epsilon cannot be supremum. If it is not supremum of P, there must exist, by definition of supremum, there exists an element eta belongs to P such that this xi minus epsilon is less than eta. This xi minus epsilon is less than eta. As eta belongs to P, there are finite members of S smaller than eta. By definition of P, there are finite members of S such that these members are smaller than eta. That means, and here xi minus epsilon is less than eta, and therefore, we have there are finite members of S greater than xi minus epsilon. So, we get that finite members of S greater than xi minus epsilon. Again, see the upper bound xi plus a as xi plus epsilon. Xi is a supremum, xi plus epsilon is not a supremum, of S, is not a supremum of P. It is not a supremum. So, it is not a supremum, therefore, this xi plus epsilon is not a member of P. Is not a member of P, therefore, xi plus epsilon must exceed an infinite members of S. If it exceeds only finite member, if it exceeds xi plus epsilon exceeds finite members of S, then obviously this xi plus epsilon will be member of P, and Xi plus epsilon will be member of P means xi plus epsilon will be supremum, but it is not a supremum, it is not a member of P, and therefore xi plus epsilon must exceed an infinite member of S. That means there are infinite member which are smaller than xi plus epsilon. Look at this. There are finite member which are greater than xi minus epsilon, infinite member which are smaller than xi plus epsilon, and hence this interval xi minus epsilon to xi plus epsilon contain how many infinite members of S, and this is an arbitrary neighborhood of epsilon. So this implies that every neighborhood of xi contain infinite members of S, and hence xi is limit point of S. Xi is limit point of S, and we have proved xi is a limit point of S. So every infinite bounded set has a limit point. Okay, initially we have made a one statement that not every infinite set has a limit point, but according to this Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem, we definitely say that if the infinite set is a bounded, then it has a limit point. Okay, now we see problems regarding this limit points. Let me erase this. I hope you have get the idea of limit point. I am repeating the definition, and you consistently watch the definition of a limit point. What is limit point? Xi is a limit point of S if every neighborhood of xi contains infinite member of S, and the set of all limit point of S is called as a derived set, and it is denoted by S dash. This is an very important concept of real analysis, what limit point. Okay, see the problem. If show that if, let me write it properly, if S and T are subsets of real number, subsets of a real number, then show that number 1 S is a subset of T implies S dash is a subset of T, and number 2 S union T dash equal to S dash union T dash. Okay, let us see the proof of 1. Now first possibility, if S dash equal to phi and empty set is a subset of every set, in this case S dash is a subset of T dash. If second possibility, S dash is not equal to phi, so therefore let X be any point of S dash. What is S dash? S dash is the derived set. What is derived set? It is the set of limit points. It is a set of limit points of S. that means x is a limit point of S, that is x is limit point of S, x is limit point of S. Now apply definition, and therefore every neighborhood, suppose n is neighborhood of x, then this neighborhood contain how many points? Infinite points of S. Therefore this n contains how many points? Contains infinite point of S, but S is a subset of T. So obviously n contains how many points? N contains infinite point of T. Okay, if n contains infinite point of T, this shows that x is limit point of T, that is x belongs to T dash. Okay, see what we have proved, that as x belongs to S dash, we have shown that x belongs to T dash, that is S dash is a subset of T dash, and hence first part is proved. Now we prove the second part of this problem. Second part, since S is a subset of S union T, this implies S dash is a subset of S union T dash. Again T is a subset of S union T, this implies T dash is a subset of S union T dash. Now let us combine this. This implies S dash union T dash is a subset of S union T dash, and let us call it as a equation number 1. Now to prove the converse part, what is we want to prove? We want to prove that S union T dash is a subset of S dash union T dash. This is we want to prove. Okay, so possibility, if S union T dash equal to phi, then obviously a empty set is a subset of every set. So S union T dash is a subset of S dash union T dash. Now second possibility, if S union T dash is not empty. So consider again the same criteria. If x is a point of S union T dash, if x is a point of S union T dash, x is a point of S union T dash, then what is this meaning? S union T dash, x is limit point of S union T. X is limit point of T means x is limit point of S or T or both. Since it is in union, so it is a limit point of S or T or both. So if x is a limit point of S or limit point of T, this implies this x belongs to S dash or x belongs to T dash. If x belongs to S dash or x belongs to T dash, obviously x belongs to S dash union T dash, that is every point x of S union T dash is point of S dash union T dash. This implies S union T dash is a subset of S dash union T dash. Number 2. Now let us combine 1 and 2. So this shows that from 1 and 2 S union T dash equal to S dash union T dash. Okay. So I hope you have get the concept of limit point. And very important theorem, Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem, and we have seen today definition of limit point, examples of limit point, and very important theorem, Bolzano-Weierstrass theorem for a set, and problems regarding the limit points. Thank you for watching.